We are.
Well, folks, we're on Facebook.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Live!
Speak for yourself.
Julia, save it. Let me find out if we're really live. I trust but verify.
Uh-huh.
Well, Facebook people.
I know we're live somewhere.
Live!
But
You're
until I
tuning
see
into
us,
Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max.
I don't know that we are yet.
Live.
Live!
Live.
Okay, is this on Thomas Mongelli's page?
It's on Funny Talk.
It's not on Funny Talk.
How could it not be on Funny Talk?
And on Turner Classic Movies tonight, the great Fred Astaire is on with Anchors Away. This is my second shot at this on this show.
Welcome to Retard
and
Radio.
it's like a rerun of the first shot. This is one radio will not kill the video, or whatever that song is.
Radio.
All right. Well, folks,
Well,
what?
If you can hear us wherever you are.
No, wait.
No,
There
wait.
it is. Yeah, you're on Thomas
Plenty
Mongelli,
of weight.
not.
So,
I've got to share it over to Funny Talk.
Just a reminder, if you'd like to make a donation, please call the number at the bottom of your screen.
Timpani, please.
You know, the thing of it is, I could be sitting home right now and doing the same exact thing
I'm thinking the same thing.
with
It's
no
my
pants
show.
on. I'm just going to take my pants
Why,
off.
you have pants on?
Do you see
All
what
right,
I
hello, audience. Welcome to Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max. I'm Doug Max,
And I'm Tom Mongelli.
And I'm anonymous.
and our special anonymous guest tonight, the world famous, renowned, beloved comic, friend, comedian, raconteur,
Cut the shit.
soon-to-be movie star, the amazing, the great Julia Scotti.
Toady Fields. ladies and
Tony
gentlemen.
Field.
Toady Field.
Toady Field.
And Julia Scotti. Welcome, Julia.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome,
Thank
Julia.
you. Which
Welcome
one are you?
back.
You're Max, right?
I'm the Max one.
You're the Max. Okay. And you must be the Mongelli.
I'm the Mongelli.
Okay. Be sure to order the Mongelli, folks. It's the chef makes it. It's just.
What happens when they try to order the Mongelli in Japan, Tom?
You mean in China?
Okay.
Tom Mongelli in Chinese is Tom and Jerry.
It's very disorienting.
Yes, I know.
That's his material. I'm stealing it from him.
Okay.
That's a good friend.
Alrighty then.
I just would like to make a disclaimer right there because I did not make that ethnic joke, and I still hear echo. Why am I hearing echo? Yeah, okay.
So our close fans of the show know that the last time Julia was on, we had a wonderful show. She
No
and
one
I
heard it,
enjoyed
though.
greatly.
Yeah.
But no one heard it, and those who did only heard half of it. So that's like 25%.
Yeah, and when you consider that they're not paying for it.
But you
What
had
do
a
you want
nice
for
dinner,
free?
though. You
I
did.
did it. We had dinner across the street. Can I
had a-
say that?
When
Sure.
we had wonderful laughs, unlike probably what'll happen on the show.
Yeah.
Dinner was great, wasn't it?
It was fantastico.
What did you have?
I had veal, how's your mama, or something. Veal, something. Veal a la Trenton.
Tom, what did you have?
I had chicken, what's the name of the place? Barone. Chicken Barone.
Anyway, speaking
Which was
of
my
more
stripper name
important
for many
things-
years, Chicken Barone.
Speaking of more important things, one thing we do want to do is shout out to our friend and sponsor of the show, the wonderful Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions. And if anybody's looking for a comedy show Friday, November 9th, please look up J. Irwin Productions on Facebook. He's got a wonderful show at the Bike with John McClellan, Joe Eichler, and Sean Elaine, and I can vouch for all these comics. Some of them are as funny as me, or funnier.
I remember the bicycle club from when I grew up in that area. And I remember when that place first opened.
Where is this?
It's in Englewood Cliffs.
Englewood
Yep,
Cliffs?
that's where this is.
That
and-
doesn't sound like a safe place to go biking.
Well, it's not a regular bike. It's one of those big front wheel bikes, the little tiny wheel in the back. Which
Yeah,
I know
what about the cliffs, though? That's what I'm...
well, you could go. Well, right over there is where they filmed The Perils of Pauline.
Yeah.
Did you
Did
know
they
that?
really? I thought that was in Patterson.
No, that's
No.
in Fort Lee. Remember, we're having that the gentleman that runs.
How did we get from Englewood Cliffs to Fort Lee?
It's right
They're
next
right
to each
next
other.
door. Fort Lee was the Hollywood of the original Hollywood.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Come on, read a book.
I thought it was West Orange and Thomas Edison's.
Well, that's
Well,
he
yeah.
invented the Black Maria.
Can I just fill in the
Sure.
blanks here?
Fill in the blanks.
Fort Lee is situated right on the Palisades. So what happened is the Biograph Studios, which were in New York, would load up their cameras and equipment and crew, take the ferry at 125th Street across the river into Jersey, go up to Route 5 to the cliffs, and shoot the Perils of God. Pauline. I almost cursed.
I know. I heard.
I stopped myself.
That was good.
All right.
Who played Pauline? I've seen the movie.
I don't know.
It
Errol
wasn't
Flynn.
Paul Apprentice.
No, I think it was Paul Lind.
Paul Lynde. He would have been great in it.
He would just go on the cliffs and go, help me, help me.
You know, I watched the Hollywood Squares for him. Whenever he was on, I loved it.
He was the best.
Okay.
All right, so now that we've eaten up, what was that, 7 minutes on?
Okay, so the
Hey,
theme
Jack
of our,
Hoffman.
the theme of our
Hi,
show
Jack.
is comedy. So Julia, you've been a comic. Well, you're really a comedian.
What is that as
You're
opposed
more a
to?
comedian than a comic. You deserve the honorific of being a comedian. You're, you know, I know there's a. There's
I
a
don't know
diff-
what the difference is. Somebody defined
one
it
is-
once.
you're-
You know.
you're
You know.
better-
What I
you're better
heard.
than
I heard
comic.
a great description of the difference between a comic and a comedian. A comic says funny things,
and
and a comedian says things in a funny way.
Right. I think I'm the
I
latter.
don't buy that.
You're a comedian.
I think it's the other way around.
I have no jokes in my act. You've even said that.
That you, I know, well, I know.
And yet here I am in this studio talking to you still.
I was thinking of what we talked about last time, and I remembered one of the things I think I said to you, and it sounds horrible, but I said something like, I hate you, and it was because of that stop sign routine you did.
Yeah,
She did a
well-
live Facebook feed, and this was it. This is Julia Scotti's comedy, and she's adored. It was like, when you get to a stop sign, stop! It's a stop! Stop!
Because
I'm paraphrasing.
you have to own it. Here, we'll do. Here, you want to do a little experiment?
Yeah.
Hey, Doc, give us a word. Any word. Just pick a word. Doc, just give time. All right, everybody say time in the funniest way possible. Go, Doug.
Time!
Time.
Time.
Okay, you win. I think it was the word.
It's
Anyway, I know.
It's what you put.
Anyway, it's a gift.
It is a gift.
Do you recognize it as a gift that you have? Have other people told you that
Uh-huh.
that they that they envy you your ability to do minimalist?
I've never been. No one's ever told me they were ever envious of anything I did, including my family. No, I get the envy of no one.
I'm sorry, our time is up.
Your family. It's Tupperware urns for them. I'm just saying.
Tupperware.
No, I think a lot of what my delivery comes from my father. My father was kind of he had a funny delivery. He just was that kind of a guy, and so I copied a lot from him.
Did everybody in the family know he was being funny when he was being funny?
He had natural comic, he was innately funny. Actually, all of his brothers and sisters were very, very funny people. My Uncle Sharky, my father's name was Vinny, his brother's name was Anthony, and everybody called him Sharky. And then there was Carmen, Frankie, Gloria, Anna, and I think I'm leaving somebody else, but they were just loud and very funny. Like you'd walk into my Aunt Gloria on a Sunday, she'd be making meatballs in a big pot, and she goes, and my name was Richie back then, because, but she would just be like, Richie, you want a ball? and how do you not love a woman who wants a ball? Doug?
I'm
I'm sorry, I
pinning
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm
with my
doing.
little-
You can't
with
see
my
I'm
little
doing computer
speech.
stuff.
No, I wasn't doing anything.
Doug
I
was
just,
playing solitaire on his
I was
computer.
just trying to fill this friggin' dead air. That
Red
was
queen on a king. And,
like,
Well,
yeah,
fa-
go ahead, Thomas Mongelli.
Family is often the funniest people around.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's where we get our comedy stylings from. I mean, I can totally relate to what you're saying.
Either that, or you try to be funny to keep from getting beaten, which was also the case.
Well, our next show, we're having two of my uncles on the show. Uncle,
real?
Yeah, Uncle Vinny and Uncle Sal.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Hey, can I get my water over there?
Yeah, sure.
I think I left it in my pocketbook. I left my water in my pocketbook.
Oh, waiter,
Never got your email.
I'm getting over just
bronchitis.
bronchitis, so that's how much I love show business.
Doug, he didn't get your email.
Oh, God.
Well, it's too late now.
And if you'd
because
like to
we've
send us
already
an
begun
email,
the show.
please.
I sent it to you as a messenger file. Yeah, on Facebook. But you can't do anything with it now because we're
Actually
Julia's here. We don't need a Julia poster. Although maybe we could. Would you mind if we just had the poster up the whole show and it would be like your voice coming through?
Oh, if you'd have done that, I could have called this.
You could have called in and
She's
next time.
she's much
Yeah.
better in 2D.
After, because we're going to have to do this
third
over again
time,
because
I'm
it's
sure.
something. I think they're going to get the sound, but they won't be able to see any.
Hi, Jack.
So, Julia, you a while back we talked about how
Sound
long
effects.
you've been a comedian or a comic or whatever you are.
Wait, sound effects.
So,
Everyone
you know what that's?
loves
No, that's like
the
from
king of the sea.
that sound is from
Flipper.
a sci-fi movie with Robbie the Robot. What was the name of Red Planet? Was it called Red Planet?
No, it's called Flipper.
Not Flipper. That was
She was
old.
just singing Flipper. The
was singing
theme.
She was
Flipper
singing
thing.
Flipper.
Yeah.
I was hearing
Why
Robbie
must
the
you
Robot.
take the joy out
Doug's
of my
always
life?
hearing things.
I had sound effects, and you kind of.
So, it's funny. Our show is about talking about famous comics.
It's
and
a
you
show
are
about
a famous
nothing.
Comic.
No, I'm
So
not.
the question is, do we talk to you about you, or do we make you talk about famous comics that you know and
Well,
you
let
want
me
to
just
trash?
correct one thing. You mentioned. I knew you were going to say this thing about being a famous comic. I know when I thought about it.
Yes.
If fame is like the rings of Saturn, and on your inner ring, you have like Sarah Silverman and people like that. I am like on the outer. I'm almost a ring on Uranus or Pluto.
I was waiting for that.
Do they have? I'm not. I'm off. That's how my level of fame.
Excuse me. I was speaking from my, everything about the show when I speak is from my perspective. So,
All right,
audience,
from
I
your
will tell you,
perspective-
Julia's going to blush because she gave me, I've told her this a few times, she gave me the biggest laugh I had in 20 years, and it was over one of these other totally stupid jokes. A guy brought her a dozen bagels. Yeah, lift up your game. A dozen bagels on a date. I'm cracking up for days. I couldn't stop laughing. It just hit my, anyway, so you are the rings of Saturn. You are all
No,
the
no,
moons.
I'm on the outer bands.
You are
I'm,
the moon.
I'm past
to
the
me.
rings of Saturn. I'm not even on a ring. I'm sort of like on a cloud of Saturn dust.
Can I? I've seen you and I've seen Sarah Silverman. So Sarah Silverman, and I've seen her do some talented stuff, but there's no comparison. You are truly genuinely funny, and Sarah. I also see a lot of people get famous and it goes to their head and then they go off script.
Well, obviously, all you have to do is look around and you can tell that this has not gone to my head. It may have gone to my intestinal tract because there's probably some kind of fucking virus floating around in this place. Did I say fucking? I'm sorry, didn't mean. Can I say that?
Yeah. Let's could you play back?
I'm
Play
sorry.
back the last 5 seconds.
For those of you whose kids are watching at home, don't use that kind of language unless you're doing
Yeah,
this
for
show.
those of you who are kids at home watching, you're 70 years old with your 45-year-old kid listening to you, you've got problems, is what I think.
Is that me? Why am I not moving in sync with my body?
Because there's a delay from the time it goes out there
Oh.
and goes through there.
So did you
and then it
did
comes
you hit
back
the
here.
button when I said the bad word? Oh, okay.
We don't really have a button.
All right. I
We-
do.
A belly
But you'll
button.
never see it.
Okay, so we talked about Julia's illustrious comedian career.
And yeah.
Did you? So I think we talked about favorite clubs you had last time. I forget what
Oh
they were.
God.
Now, you
Oh,
played
oh,
at the
God.
old improv, didn't you?
I started at the very first club I worked in New York was at the Improv.
I used to go there all the time in the 80s when I was in college.
Yeah, well, I passed auditions, 82 maybe?
I was there.
82, 80.
I used to see Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, God, yeah.
What's his name? The Italian guy.
Mario Cantone?
No.
Oh, he was there.
He played the prop comic on that Seinfeld
Dom?
episode. Dom
Herrera?
Herrera,
Oh, Dom
yeah.
was there too, yeah.
And they were first starting
So
out.
who were the comics that came up with you at the time you were there? And
Well, my very first time on stage was in May of 1980, and at that time it was at a Chinese restaurant in Paramus.
I
Remember that?
Yeah.
So on those shows, I was a little behind comics like Jerry Seinfeld and people from that caliber, Bill Maher, and all of those people. But I got to know them pretty well. Eddie Murphy, who I got to know because we were doing gigs. In fact, the week Eddie got Saturday Night Live, he was booking a show up in West Nyack, New York, a little hole in the wall. And I was booked on the show, so I went up there and, we're sitting around talking. He goes, like comics do. I go, what's going on? Anything happening? He goes, I just got Saturday Night Live. I go, oh, because they were looking for somebody to replace Garrett Morris. I go, gee, I hope you get some stage time, because, Garrett didn't get a whole lot of stage time back then. Well, the rest was rock and roll.
yeah, so that was what, the third? When did he come in? Not the first year. It was like 4 or 5 years in.
Yeah,
right?
it was probably somewhere around 84, maybe 85,
Yeah, it's about right.
right?
So
Is that-
did you like, were you impressed with any of these comics that we know now from back then? Did you,
I mean, there
going
were
back?
comics. I mean, you would look at for certain, like, obviously Gilbert, was, you just sit there sometimes and just go. Otto and George were just hysterically funny. Comics would always come in and watch them. There was a comic, he's still in New York. You don't see much of him anymore, but a guy named Dan Vitale, who was, to me, just what I aspired to be as a young comic. He was a young guy too, but Uncle Dirty, I don't know if you know who he
I
is.
remember
the
him.
name.
Uncle Dirty was,
He was at Improv.
Uncle Dirty was Uncle Dirty had a hit album. I think he even won a Grammy for
Really?
his comedy album. Right around the time Lenny Bruce was coming. He was friends with Lenny and Carlin and all those people. So, I mean,
Okay.
and Uncle Dirty would hold court at the bar.
Didn't he
at
have
the
a
Improv.
raincoat or trench coat?
I think in his early
Yeah.
part of his career, but he played a little pan flute on stage,
And was he dirty? Did he work blue?
Yeah.
But today, would it be considered quaint?
Well, no,
was
I
doing
don't
back
think it
then?
would be considered. It was a little edgy, He
Yeah.
he talked. He was very socially conscious in his material too, but a real character. Yeah. So the Improv was one of my fondest memories. In fact, that you can see in this movie I was telling you about earlier. There's footage of me standing in front of the old Improv back then. So. It's
So,
kinda neat.
I alluded to it, ladies and gentlemen. Julia is going to have, be the star of a documentary named, do we have a name?
Well, as of right now, the working title is the Julia Scotti story. So.
The Julia Scotti story, what's it about?
I don't know. It's about a young.
It's Leo DeRocher.
Anyway, so,
Hi, Jack.
do we have a possible date when it's gonna hit?
No, but I
Come
can
out?
tell you, what I can tell you is that it's going to be part of the Paley Center, the Paley Institute. It's kind of a competition for documentaries, and it was selected in the top 5 as one of the finalists.
That's great.
So that will be on November 7th.
Do we get to vote online?
No, this is all industry people, but it probably will be out next year sometime.
Could we make up some stories about the competitive documentaries about, bad things about them in their past?
I have no idea what you just said.
I don't think he
I'm
did.
thinking I could make an allegation against one of the other documentarians that
No,
they-
why would you do that?
So you'd win. We knock them
what
out.
if we win on our own? You don't think I'm good enough to win?
Yeah, here we
Of
go.
course I do, but I wanna
I'm out of
make it
here.
easy.
I can't.
Okay, I've offended
I
your
can't do this.
sensibilities.
Hi, Jack. I'm sorry, Jack. Jack,
Don't go.
you know, I came here out of the goodness of my heart because I love you, Jack Hoffman, but this son of a bitch has just cut me to the quick.
We
He's
gotta play
torn-
dirty politics.
No.
That's all.
You've torn a hole in my heart.
Julia, of course, I think your documentary would be the finest.
All right, well, then you're forgiven.
Okay.
I'll stay.
Julia, do you realize you said hijack 4 times and planes have been rerouted to Cuba?
Hey, I got to tell you about my dream last night.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of hijack, this is a true story. I actually had a dream last night. This is a true story where I got up, I had the dream, I remembered it when I woke up, got up to pee, went back to bed, and was able to pick up the dream like
Wow.
part 2.
Oh,
It was the wildest thing.
Wow.
And check this dream out. I'm a pilot, right? And I'm flying a 747. And it was before they locked the doors, in the cockpit. So I'm flying the thing, and this guy breaks into the cockpit, and he says, "Unless you do a barrel roll with this plane, I'm going to kill everybody on the plane." This is 747. Can't do it. You know what a barrel roll is, right? So I said to him, "Yeah, was that? They can see that when I do that, right?" Okay. So I said, "Hey, it's a 747. You can't do a barrel roll." And I knew he was dead serious. He was going to kill everybody on the plane. And so I said, "All right, well, if anybody can do this, it's me." And I drew on every bit of aeronautical knowledge I had and pulled it off. Thank you, man. I was a national hero in part 2.
they played Roll Out the Barrel.
Did you get a ticker tape parade?
I didn't get a ticker tape parade, but I got an upgrade in my hotel.
So now, would you be in the interviews afterwards? Were you as humble as Sully, who said, "Oh, it was the stewardesses and the flight attendants."
Sully landed on a river. I barrel rolled a
Yeah,
747.
I know. People
Let me
are
tell you-
making like, yeah. Listen, the plane's going down anyway, right?
It's got to
There was
land
a river
somewhere.
underneath. There was a river underneath.
That's right, Sully. Sully ain't shit.
And besides, the Hudson River is solid anyway.
That's right. You barrel roll a 747, then I'll give you a high five. All right, Sully, I apologize. Hi, Jack.
It was another plane.
I miss Jack Hoffman.
So what else? I have a note that I wanted to talk to you
All
about
right.
Jesus at Wawa. For those if you don't follow Julia Scotti on Facebook, she's the only person other than me and Tom that you should spend any time following on Facebook. Among her creative endeavors has been a comic series entitled Jesus at Wawa. So I know Tom loves Wawa, because he wanted to open up a
Wawa.
Anyway,
Every time he tries one of my lines, he screws it up. Worse than I could ever. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. So I wanted to ask you about your Jesus at Wawa. What kind of guy is he like?
Not my Jesus. He's everybody's Jesus. I don't own him. I don't have the right
So
to.
every time you run into him, he's
Yeah.
bumming smokes, he wants
he's a-
coffee, he wants ho-hos, something like
He's
that.
a poor guy.
I was going to ask you, is he an aesthete?
I beg your pardon? No, he's...
Did you ever
He's
read
Jewish, he's not an
Siddhartha by
aesthete.
Hermann Hesse?
What?
Siddhartha was an aesthete. In the Indian culture, the poor, they were holy. The poor, they didn't
know
know
what an
anything.
aesthete is.
They went around begging like at
I
Wawa's.
read Siddhartha. Again, Jack Hoffman, he's insulting me. I'm out of here.
Hi, Jack.
I'm a college graduate. I graduated with a 3.87 GPA.
And I've got you at a Wawa interacting with Siddhartha.
No.
That's Hesse. This is great
Jesus.
literature.
Jesus.
Jesus, not Siddhartha.
Jesus.
Siddhartha is at the Carnegie Deli outside there.
So do you know what your Jesus does for a living?
He's Jesus. My Jesus, he's not my Jesus. He's a friend of mine. He shows up, but I don't know what he does. I don't care what he does.
He gets the coffee for
He's
$1.
your-
I know that.
he's our
No, the
Jesus.
guy is, for whatever reason, he's picked me, and we talk. We solve problems of the world. I ask him questions. He solves mysteries. And for that, all he asks for is a cup of coffee, maybe a cinnamon bun, maybe a nice pack of smokes
That's a
every
good
now and then.
deal.
He's a good guy.
It's a great deal.
You know, I don't have any, well, you just don't like.
Do you feel when you're around him, do you feel a hum, a buzzing, a spiritual force?
No. No.
Okay.
He smells a little. He
Okay.
smells.
Just a guy named Jesus at a Wawa.
Well, he does smell a little bit. So I feel a little nauseous because he's not the cleanest guy in the world.
If you ever, I don't know, you ever pick him up like some antiseptic wipes or something?
No, it's not
That
my
would be
place.
insulting.
No, it's not
Yeah,
my
that would
place.
be insulting.
Not my place. If he wants to go, there's a lake right near my house. He could go jump in the lake and clean up and all. I don't have a problem. I don't spend that much time with him. Like if we were dating, then I would say, you got to clean up a little bit. But we're not.
On a date with Jesus.
He's asked me. It's not like he hasn't asked me.
God, what kind of, if you were Jesus, what kind of place would you take a woman to impress her? The bar is way up there, right? You gotta like go to heaven, right? Where do you?
I would settle for a nice Arthur Treacher's.
There you go. Okay.
You know what he can do with the fish and loaves.
Yeah, he could. No, you see, you misunderstand me, Douglas. Can I call you Douglas?
Man. That's when I know I'm in trouble.
I'm a woman of simple needs. I don't need a whole lot. See, all he has to
I
do
know
is
you don't. That's why I like you.
all he has to do is buy me a nice soubrette hot dog. Maybe something from the halal cart. I'm happy.
I would have gone with Hebrew National, but
Oh,
where is soubrette from?
where are they from?
Is that an Italian hot dog?
No.
Excuse me.
Aren't
ladies
they
and
from
gentlemen.
Chicago? I don't know. Coney Island?
If anybody,
That's Nathan's.
That's
if
Nathan's.
either of our listeners knows where soubrette's, what's
You know who's got good hot dogs is Wawa. You ever have their hot
No,
dogs?
I haven't.
Try their hot dogs.
Wait, he was putting an appeal out to the
Oh,
public.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go
I
make your
interrupt him.
appeal. Well,
I interrupt him all
No,
the
if
time.
anybody knows where soubrettes are made or where they come from, or look on the Google machine now, call us at. Do we have a phone number?
It's on the screen.
Oh, really? It was
609?
surprising. No one's called.
Oh, put the good number up. So,
Can I call?
so no,
Sure.
I'm going to bring this up, so I'm going to get me into trouble since normally our show isn't about this, but times are changing, and Julia and I know we share our politics very strongly, and so rather than maybe talk about politics directly, could we maybe talk about the role comedians play in informing the masses? And I guess I would precede this. We've got a call. Anybody we know? Is it about? Hello, caller. You're on.
Hey,
with-
Doc.
Hello,
Doc.
Doc.
Who's speaking?
No, Jack.
Hey. No,
Who's-
it's Jack Hoffman.
Oh,
I thought. You
Hi,
said I
Jack.
recognized.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
So, did you look up the soubrette hot dog history for us?
I think they're made right in Secaucus.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, there were a lot of pig farms in Secaucus at one point,
I did not know that.
so we know where that's coming from. Where are the onions
Oh,
made,
wait, I
Jack?
gotta shut the sound on this here. Hold on.
Yeah, please turn off your radio.
There we go. Now I can hear you. Sorry.
You're the 100th caller. Congratulations.
Where do they make the onions, Jack?
I think from under. I don't know.
From under.
From under something.
So, Jack, I don't know if you heard, but we talked a little bit about your upcoming show at the Bike, and I know I've seen John McClelland and Joe Eichler many times. I know I've been on a show with Sean Elaine, so I know it's going to be a great show.
That's great. Now, Julia was right. The Bicycle Club back in the 70s
That's right.
was like the club to go to. We used to, I got to tell you, what we used to call it was a meat market.
It was. It was. I wouldn't even go in there because I didn't have the money to impress anybody. Like, you had to have money to go in there.
And when I didn't see you there, that's why I left.
So
Well,
you
I-
couldn't get meat there?
I looked a little different back then, Jack.
I know. I was
Wait,
just looking at
another
Penguins.
call?
I know.
Shut up.
And yes, it's right on 9W, and actually 9W is notorious for these bicyclists. They go up and down from New York, from Bear Mountain, all the way down to the George Washington Bridge and back and forth. So there's a lot of people along 9W there.
That's right.
Traveling there. But Julia, you mentioned, and you guys were mentioning the improv. And it was about a year and a half ago that Joe Salabi did a reunion at the restaurant.
That's
that
right.
is that used to be the Improv. It's now an Italian restaurant.
That's right. We did.
But that was a very special night, Julia. It was for me as a fan.
It was
really
for me as a comic, and all the comics that were there, what he's talking, what Jack's talking about is we were at the original improv site on 44th and 9th, which is now an Italian restaurant, but they had preserved the brick wall where the stage was, and so there's a plaque up there, and we did a show. It was the first time comedy had been there in I think 30 years. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We have calls. Hey, Jack, we got new calls.
Oh, yes, hello, new caller.
Both
Oh.
of them? What?
Oh, well,
I'm
whoever
still
the
here. I
other
don't know
caller
how
was,
it's
we were sorry. We're sorry you hung up.
Please
You're
call
welcome to
back.
Call back. We don't know who you are, but we're
We-
sure we want to
Hey,
talk to you.
I'm a long-time listener and a first-time caller. How's that?
You know, I thought you were coming here tonight, Jack. It's the only reason I showed up.
She's very
I
disappointed.
apologize. I told the guys we had a little family.
Oh, there's our call is back.
But I would have loved to join you for dinner and be there live. But
Hold
that
on,
show-
Jack, hold on one
Hello,
second.
hello, caller.
Hold on, Jack.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on. Hello, caller.
Hey, it's Joey Novak.
Ah, for God, you thought you said it was a caller. It's only Novik.
Hey, Joey, how you doing?
He's calling. It counts.
Yeah.
Hi,
Oh,
Joey.
It's fun, not funny now. I want to offer people gigs.
Sure.
He's
Yeah. Oh, now I get respect.
no. Where's the gig?
I was kidding. I was on my phone and I saw you here and I decided to call in.
Well, it's about time. Jack Hoffman's on line one. You're on line two. We have
Wow.
The same as Joey Novick.
Hey, Julia, how are you?
How am I?
How are you feeling?
For this, you wasted a phone call. I'm fine, thank you. I have had the bronchies, the bubons,
I
as John
heard-
Stewart would say.
But I think I'm a doctor. I prescribed her humidity.
Yes, so they've got me in the studios. It's like a rainforest in here.
Oh, the humidity.
So, well, here we are, 5 people on a national radio show with nothing to say.
It's not. It's actually international.
Ah,
We've tracked. I think we've tracked 95% of our listening audience to Ethiopia.
to an Ethiopian prison.
Ethiopian.
Where right now they're giving up government secrets.
I met a woman. I never dated her, but we became friends, and she told me a story. She's Jewish, and she lives in Canada.
Why do you feel the need
and
to say
she told me a story about a guy that wrote to her who lives in Ethiopia in a compound, and he's Muslim. And he wanted her to come to Ethiopia and hang with her. And I'm like, how great would it be to date a guy that lives on a compound? That's money, right?
What are you
What?
talking about?
Never mind.
Joey?
He
I
probably
think
hung
Joey
up.
She's
hung
still
up.
there?
Is Doug there live?
No,
Is Doug here?
no. This is a facsimile.
It's a hologram.
Wow, do you realize we've been on the air now for 35 minutes?
It feels like. Doesn't it feel like a lot longer?
About a month.
Yeah?
But don't worry. The good news is the odds of the sound actually making it to anyone are. You got it? Have you been listening to make sure its sound is going out?
He's listening. Nobody else is.
Hello, Watson. I need you. Come in here. That's my Don Amici impression from Don Amici as Alexander Graham Bell.
I remember. I remember.
How could you remember? You're not that
Okay,
old.
I am. I'm 62. Listen. You're. We
Don't
grew
say
up with
it.
the same. I won't say it.
Okay.
So, Jack, how do people get tickets for this bike? The bike.
Oh, it's Bicycle Club, 110918 at brownpapertickets.com. That's how you get the tickets.
Where is it? Upstairs, Jack?
Yes, it is upstairs in their catering room, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
but you walk in there, and if you walked in there back in the 70s, that square bar, you never forget it.
Still there?
And I walked in there for the first time about 3 months ago, and it like brings back all the memories from 40 years ago. It's the same bar.
Wow. I wonder if the county jail would have the same effect on me.
It's more than a club now. It's a nice Italian restaurant, and we're trying this comedy upstairs
See, if
every few weeks.
if I were to ever go in there again, I would immediately start singing the Queen song. As soon as I walked in, I would just go, bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to see Jack Hoffman show at the Bicycle Club.
Stick to comedy, Julia.
All right. I'm sorry.
Have you
and
heard her
I
sing
think you will
her-
be walking in there. We're going to arrange for that. That's for sure.
Julia's live Facebook singing videos are hysterical.
Oh my! Oh yeah, my
Your
yeah.
diner-
Oh yeah, my
diner-
diner diva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diner.
I'm
Diva.
known for a lot of things. A versatile.
That's
performer.
a great thing to be known for, though.
God, I really am.
And they must really
I'm
love
a genius,
you. Do they?
Tom.
I know that.
What do they do
Julia
when
also
you
does
do that?
a lot
do they?
of videos right from her car.
That's right.
And I've talked to her about the safety implications of that.
Yes, because Doug will suck the joy out of anything in my life.
It's not just you. I do that for everyone.
Yeah, why just you? He does it for everybody.
I know this, but
Do you know how much joy I spread in this world from people that get to know me? The joy that they have realizing that they're not me.
it's true.
It's
You're
uplifting.
like an antidepressant.
Thank you.
You really are. Like
I don't think that's the right word, but thank you. I'll take it.
another phone. call?
Another phone call. Hello, caller. You're on with Funny Talk with whatever our show is
Yes,
called.
hi. Can you hear me okay?
We can
Sure.
hear you.
I know who this is.
Who's calling?
I'm sorry. Did you say you could hear me okay?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Paul.
Yes, they can hear you.
Paul.
Oh, okay. I'm calling from the headquarters of the Sabre hot dog makers, and we'd like you to not use our name for copyright infringement. No, I'm only kidding. I have been enjoying your show tonight. It's very interesting. And,
Wow.
I thought I would ask you guys what you guys think of, the classic British humor like Monty Python and Faulty Towers and those kinds of shows.
I love Faulty Towers. One of my favorite shows.
And I love a good argument.
The man asked, you finally got a friggin' phone call.
Really?
And you give him a snotty answer.
It's not a snotty answer.
He asked
You
a
remember
legitimate
that?
comic
I'm telling
question.
him I like Monty
What's
Python.
your name, son?
I came in for an argument. No, you didn't. You're just disagreeing with
Right.
that.
My name is Brad.
What is
That's
it?
a good one. The Argument Clinic.
Oh, Brad, what did you say your name was?
Yes, Brad.
Okay, it's hard to understand.
You just nod your head pleasantly and be
No,
gracious.
because if I had a set of headphones at work, maybe I could tell what the kid's name is. I don't know what his name
It's
is.
Brad.
I'm not putting your earphones
Is
on.
this
Correct.
is this the Brad
Brad?
that I know?
Yes, this is
Hi.
Tom's
Brad
friend,
Trackman?
Brad.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Who is it, Brad? Who?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I don't know, Brad. Do you want your last name to be known or no?
Was he a
Yeah,
comic?
that's okay.
No, can we spend some time guessing the first letter
Let's
of your last
spin the
name?
wheel. Turn
Brad-
the fan up. Let's
Brad and
go.
I used to teach
Brad.
together.
Oh, how long have you known Tom?
I've known Tom. I want to say, Tom, were you at JFK in 2000?
Yeah,
When I started?
I went there around '98.
So I guess since the year 2000.
So
Yeah.
what was he like as a little child?
JFK?
I was
I
a
don't know about
teacher.
his
Precocious
child,
young
but He was
man.
a very good coworker. He's the kind of guy that you really would want to work with, and he's just a really kind of fun guy to be around. And
How
helpful, and
how was his
some people,
coloring back
in any
then,
career,
Brad?
you run into them down the hall, and they're always kind of in the dumps, and that was never really Tom.
How was his coloring back then? Because he looks a little pale right now. Was
Coloring?
he? Yeah, was he
I don't
pink?
know about coloring, but he used to run the school store, and it was, as far as I know, it was run well. I guess until the financial authorities catch up with him.
Now,
Oh.
the students
He
would always
colors
hit.
outside the lines, though. He doesn't stay in the
And by
lines.
school store, you mean?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Like what?
Yeah, he
You
was a
sold
business
drugs
teacher.
in the
I don't
parking
know if
lot?
you guys know this, Tom.
Now, the students used to always hit me up for money, and my response would be my initials are TM, not ATM.
Right.
Oh.
That's not bad.
Was that
Pretty
in Patterson?
That was in Patterson, yes, Jack.
Did that kill back then?
No,
That was a good line. Or good letter.
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Brad, you've been a very exciting caller.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. I really, like I said, I've been enjoying the show. It's really entertaining. So you guys said you like the Argument Clinic. Any other of the Monty Python genre?
I love their movies. I love their movie. I love everything about the Python.
You mean a European swallow or a, what was it? Domestic swallow or European
Right.
swallow? The coconut thing.
The European
like the
swallow
TV
versus
show,
the
too.
African swallow, I think.
I just remember Bloch-Mange. You remember when Bloch-Mange won Wimbledon against somebody Podgordny? Agnes Podgordny was the final
Yeah, I do
competitor in
remember that
Wimbledon.
one. That's a good
And
one. Yeah, too.
Bloch-Mange.
I'm not even sure what the term is, but I guess it means some type of
It's a pudding.
blob type
A Bloch-Mange is a pudding,
creature that can eat other tennis players.
right?
You're asking me? I know that Jello is
No,
a pudding. I know junket rennet custard is a pudding.
So did you like Monty? Did you like Monty
I did,
Python?
yeah. I mean, I wasn't as well versed as you guys are, but I love, like I said, I love Faulty Towers.
I did too.
I could the rat episode is one of my favorite ones ever.
Not to be a
I don't know if
contrarian,
I remember that one.
I never got into British humor.
Well, that's okay. It's not for everyone.
Yeah,
Did any of you folks watch Who's Minding the Store?
No.
No.
Oh, I think I did. Was that John Cleese? Or no?
If that's the case, I'll have to check it out.
Is that the one that took place at a
Who's Minding
department
the
store?
Store was about a British department
Yeah,
store.
I've seen that. I have seen that.
Was it
Very funny.
Cleese? It wasn't Cleese. Who was it? It was somebody from Monty Python.
I don't
no?
think it was anybody from Python.
No.
No Monty Python, no.
Although Mr. Bean makes me laugh out
Mr.
loud.
Bean
too.
I like.
I did recently learn that prior to Python, Graham Chapman and John Cleese were in it's called At Last, the 1948 show. And obviously I've seen all the Monty Python skits, so it's been fun to kind of go on YouTube and find episodes of At Last, the 1948 show. It obviously seems very similar, but, if you like that kind of humor, I feel like you might enjoy that.
Well, you know who else you could find on YouTube too? You know Hugh Laurie, the guy that played House?
Yes,
He was in a part of a comedy team
Yep.
too. I can't remember the
he
name
was
of it.
funny.
But yeah, for years he did. It wasn't stand-up; it was sketch comedy. though.
Sketch comedy, yeah.
But you wouldn't think of that with Hugh Laurie.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
a lot of things will surprise you.
People are surprised to find out that I do surgery, and for only $129.
They're surprised you do comedy.
More surprised about that.
I didn't want to say it, but because it seemed cruel.
Well, and now that you were both thinking it, now we know it's hack.
Oh no! It's now I'm a hack on top of it. Jack Hoffman, I'm never coming back here again.
Hi, Jack.
I've
Okay.
insulted her 3 times, but I think for another nice meal.
Yeah, maybe. I'm looking at Jack's logo there with his face on. He looks like one of the Pep Boys, right?
Well, there's Manny, Mo, and Jack.
So you're the Jack, and look at it. Doesn't he,
He
look
looks like all three of the Pep Boys.
No, but he does. He looks like. Who was Irwin, Jack?
That's his middle
That's my
name.
middle name.
Oh.
Jay
Okay.
Irwin. Oh, look at that. That popped up. Oh, my God. What advertising.
What did he do?
Now
What'd
the
you-
guys are going to charge me. Now the guys are going to charge me double. It just popped up on the screen.
No, but we'd like a hot dog.
Oh yeah, but he does look like one of the Pep Boys, or the Jackie Gleason figure at the beginning of the Honeymooners. He looks like that a little bit, but with a beard.
Speaking of the honeymooners, we're going to try to get Alice?
Joyce Randolph?
Trixie.
Trixie.
Joyce Randolph.
That would be so great if we get her
She
on.
just turned 94 yesterday.
Did she really?
Maybe I'll have my dad give her a call.
Maybe they could. Yeah, they
They're
could.
contemporaries.
How would you know she did that? Oh, Jack, I forgot. Jack knows
Yeah,
everybody.
Come on, Jack Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the great Jack Hoffman. Zelig.
All that matters are the three there that I'm watching on TV right now that are.
That are what? Oh, I forgot we're on TV. Hi, Jack.
Those are the only ones that matter.
Hey, I got to tell you, the salad over there, I haven't had fiber in a while. I'm starting to feel it.
You too, huh?
You too?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well,
That's
I'll
called the
take up,
Verona
I'm going to be
effect.
taking over the show very quickly by myself. That'll be the last show.
We'll take turns.
Cinema verite.
Oh, my God.
Well, we're almost done.
Oh,
anyway,
so
right?
I started, I wanted to talk to you, Julia.
Oh, sure.
Even though it's inappropriate for the theme of our show.
What is
but
the
I wanted
theme
to
of the
talk
show?
to you. I wanted to talk to you about politics and comedy.
Oh, yeah, you asked me that question earlier.
And so I understand that if you do political humor, you run a risk. Well, you're guaranteed to piss off some people, probably. And
Well-
depending on where, it's a larger percentage. But the question, and I've done shows where Trump has done things that are so crazy, I'd feel guilty if I didn't say anything about them. I've got a bully pulpit and I use it. On the other hand, as a comedian, people pay to come and be entertained. They don't want to be
There was a
insulted.
time, where you could do political humor, and people would accept you as a political humorist. Now we're in such an age of specialization. I'm very political, but not on stage, by choice. But if you're doing a political show, then bill it as a political show. And if people come and they go, "I'm offended at what you said," you
Well,
say,
but they'd know. If you're
"Yeah,
a
then
political
screw
humorist,
'em." But
they
now
know.
you sort of have to build your reputation as a political comic, and that's fine. I admire people who can do that. To me, it's too much work because everything changes daily, and you got to write new material all the time.
But I'll say you, the comics on the right seemingly have a lot more support. And I don't know what it is. I don't know
On
why.
stage,
I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think maybe their base is stronger. I see a lot of clubs seemingly turning
oh, I
further
don't know.
right.
I don't know about it.
I know a lot of club owners are very far right.
Then have a political comedy night and bill it as such, Look, if you go to a comedy club, you expect anything. That should be you're not going to, I don't know, you're not going to Chuck E. Cheese where, where the bears are going to dance and you're going to get a crappy piece of pizza. You're going to a comedy club, and the whole point of it is that it's spontaneous, it's creative, it's live, it's exciting. If your sensibilities are such that you get offended, then don't go. Go someplace else. Go sit in the library. That's
So
all I
maybe
have.
we should screen the audience before they come.
No, just let
But
them know.
we hear a lot, we've been hearing a lot of stories of all the quote-unquote snowflakes from every side, walking out on shows. Who was it? Who was it recently?
Listen, I had somebody walk out on my show because I'm transgender. So, I didn't
And
find...
they didn't know beforehand.
No, and it turned out they were, one was a Baptist minister and and her husband was a bishop. Whatever the hell that means. And I said, and she came up to me the next morning in the hotel and, told me that she had walked out. And I said, "Oh, why?" And she goes, "Well, because my husband's the bishop and I am a minister. We object to your lifestyle." I said, "Oh, well, okay." And,
Lifestyle, what, breakfast?
I try to
breakfast
explain
in the
to her,
morning,
yeah.
lunch in the afternoon.
that it wasn't a lie. She goes, "You're going to burn in the fires of hell." There they are now, folks. And we started talking. I said, "Sit
Wow.
down."
And you kept on talking. Good for you.
Yeah, I invited her to sit down at breakfast with me. We stayed for an hour as we were talking. And, she was saying, she was giving me the old standbys, how I'm an abomination before the Lord. And I had my
That's
comebacks.
motivational. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been. It's not like I'm new to this. What's the phrase?
So was she polite in
Can
explaining?
I finish a sentence?
Well, maybe.
She was very polite. Yeah. I threw a plate of ham and eggs at her. No, I didn't do that. No, we agreed to disagree. But I don't want people like that at my show. If you're going to be intolerant and condemn me to, screw you. I don't need you at my show. Go someplace else. Go see some.
Well,
dull,
let's hope
boring,
the condemnation doesn't stick, you know.
I'm not going to hell. There is no. Look, wait a minute.
Well,
I might be going to hell.
I think, there's many theories
Julia,
that the hell.
what city was that in?
What city was it in? Jacksonville,
Yeah.
Florida.
Wow.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Well, I don't know if that would happen in New York or New Jersey. That's just
No, it
my
wasn't
point,
in Jersey. No, I would tell you. I would tell you exactly who it was. I'd show you the picture.
I
Yeah.
was in a, like
Hi,
a,
Jack.
I don't know if it was a VFW hall in Pennsylvania somewhere. I got there like an hour and a half early, and I just remember sitting at a table, big room, and there were two other couples at tables by themselves, and every time I looked up, they're looking over at me, and I know they were trying to figure out if I was a Jew, and they hated me or not, and they couldn't quite figure it out.
What made you think that?
Because if you're black and people look at you, you kind of know that they don't want to engage anymore. Every time I look, these people were looking at one another. They were pointing to one another, like, yeah, I think and they're like pointing at me. I mean, I knew they were trying to figure out if they hated me or not. And they knew they did, but they didn't know how much they hated me.
Well, I think there's enough reasons to hate you.
But they
I don't
didn't,
think
I
you're being
hadn't
a-
spoken with them
Oh,
yet.
okay. Well,
Yeah, this is all based on my appearance.
I don't know. I don't really let that get to me anymore.
Good.
Because if I did, I would have killed myself, years ago, just from being depressed. You gotta take.
Well, if you were thinner, then you would have saved money on the urn.
Yeah. But I mean, I could have said to this woman, I could have tore her a new one. And I felt like, all right, well, what would Jesus do? Play on her
Did you
feel.
turn your other cheek?
I
That's
did.
what you're supposed to do.
I didn't turn the cheek. We had a rational discussion about it.
It's very hard to have a rational discussion with someone that has, people take all these pieces that are all perhaps true, but when they put them together to prove something that on its surface is false, it all falls apart.
But
and
for
that's
them,
the
it's
fallacy
true.
of their logic.
I could sit there till the cows came home and poke holes in everything she would say to me. And I did. And it's still, you got to remember, this woman's devoted her whole life to her religion from the time she was a little kid. You don't just drop that. Although I did. But, I mean,
But they pick and choose. Because if they look back at their religion and found it on the Bible, well, in the Bible, if it says that being gay isn't right,
right.
it means that 2,000 years ago there were gays.
Of course there.
It's part of us. We're not, we're what is it? There's a cornucopia. We come in all different flavors and sizes and types. So any prohibitions in the Bible, it's telling you this is a natural thing. Get used to it.
Well, I talk about this in my act too, and I say, people get all on my case for having the surgery, but you go, in any given day, people are getting their asses lifted, their noses fixed, their foreheads are getting Botox shoved in their nose.
Oh, and some of these people look hideous.
And they look hideous.
I don't. They
And
look
and that's the
hideous.
thing. What I had done, you can't see unless I show it to you. But these people are walking around showing all that stuff off.
If there are any children in the room, this
It's
might
like-
be a.
It's like it's a world of Mr. Potato Head. Just put a new nose, new eye.
No,
you
it's
know-
very true.
I only have eyes for you.
That's right. Did you know they had a son?
Mr.
The
Spud?
Potato Heads had. I think his name was Spud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. I thought I had a little fun fact there. You just spoiled it.
Sorry.
That was
Anyway.
their tater tot.
Tater tot.
Uh-huh.
Who's that, Jack?
That was Jack.
Hi, Jack.
Yeah, still.
Anyway, I got into a thing not long ago with someone on Facebook about transgender, and they had a theory. And I had a different theory, and we parted ways. I don't think I convinced him any otherwise. But I remembered, and I'm pretty sure it came from you, where you were talking about being who you're being, and not. I don't know how better to describe it, but you know, I was trying to explain that this wasn't something like you woke up in the morning and said, "Oh, let's try this."
Well, somebody actually accused me of doing it for attention, and I was like, really? For real?
That's commitment.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, if I want attention, you know, I'll
There are
climb
other
the
ways.
Statue of Liberty. I'll
That's been done.
go to a roof with a high-powered machine gun. I mean, but you don't do this for attention, you know. Stupid bastards. What are you laughing at, Doc? Oh, okay. He said something
Anyway,
funny.
you know, I studied psychology. Believe it or not, I completed my PhD coursework in
Did you?
psychology. I did. I didn't get the PhD. But
You
I
didn't do
did
your,
I got my master's. But I come upon this stat all the time, and I see it. IQ is normally distributed. It averages 100, standard deviation of 15. So half of the country has an IQ of 100 or less. And they're people, they're not grasping things that you wish they
I
would
don't know if
grasp.
it has to do with IQ. I think it has to do with familiarity. You know,
It could be.
you know, if you live in a society where you know, it's okay to marry your cousin, like Franklin Roosevelt. You know,
We had that in my family too, I found.
right. But if you live outside of that culture,
It's all relative.
you're gonna look at it and go, you can't marry a cousin. It's, you know, the Bible says it. We've been marrying our cousins since the Bible began. That's what I always said. Adam and Eve had 2 boys. Where did everybody else come from?
Hoboken.
I believe, were the animals on Earth yet? There
I
was
don't
a-
know.
Oh, there had to be. There was a snake in the Garden of Eden.
A steak.
A snake.
Oh, a snake.
Yeah. Yeah, so there were some animals.
No, but you see what I mean.
I do.
If you believe
I
that
don't
story,
know.
that Adam and Eve
Yeah.
story, come on, man.
Well,
Somebody,
you know,
the kids were boffing Eve then, because where else would they have gotten more babies?
They were begatting people.
They would be getting all right.
I remember studying the story of Genesis and existentialism, and I remember the philosophy professor said that the snake tempting Eve was a sign of the fruit and the snake, and I won't get into it, but after
Wait,
they
you
ate
led
the
us
snake,
down this path, and now
they
you're not going to get
discovered
into it.
immediately after they ate the apple,
got a
they
signal when you
discovered that
switch
they were
lanes.
naked. They felt shame because they had sex. They ate the apple of the tree, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So they noticed that they were naked. They had sex, right? Their sin. And then what did God do? He kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, and what did
Naked.
he say to them? Be fruitful and multiply. Right? In other words, it's okay for you to do that, but not in my garden. Go and do it. But he kicked them out.
Yeah, you would have thought there should have been some. He's God. It would have been daycare in the Garden of
And he
Eden.
put
But
on
no.
some Barry White.
As long as you're under my roof.
That's exactly right.
Kicking
maybe
you
that
out.
Hey, folks.
Jack?
Yeah, I just wondered, do you guys have any gigs coming up? Because I see it's like 10:28. It's almost time to go off the air, and I'd like to know where I'm going to see you next.
Well, I am going to be at, where am I going to be? I'm going to be at Tierney's this coming Sunday at 7:30 in Montclair, and I love that show. And I'm going to do the day before Thanksgiving in New York at Broadway Comedy Club. I'm excited about. And I know I've got a gig December 1 in Wallington at Make Wine With Us, another wonderful
Oh,
place.
Oh, that's up my neck of the woods, Wallington.
I could tell you
December
where I'm
1.
not going to be.
Yeah.
At the Bicycle Club, because Jack wouldn't book me in there.
Would this be a
Oh,
great
I-
thing? Can you imagine a show with
We're
all
go- we're
three of
gonna
us?
do something.
How
We're gonna do
great you
something.
would look.
What?
If you did a comedy show with the three of us on a comedy show together, how great you would look.
True. I'm going to be at the Borgata in Atlantic City. It's my first time back there in 2 years.
Nice.
On November 4th through the 9th of this year.
That's great.
And yeah.
Tom, you were at the Borgata last week, weren't you?
At the buffet.
But bum.
Bada boom.
Yeah, so I'm going to be at Tierney's in Montclair, I think the week after you. And I'm doing a private gig at the Fort Lee Athletic Club. Me at an athletic club. Go figure. That's in November.
And that's only down the street from the bicycle club. It really
Oh,
is.
wow. Okay. That's November 10th, I believe. And I'm opening for Uncle Floyd at the Comedy Cove in Springfield in December.
Hey, Jack.
That's great.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
I almost got
Yes?
my sister and I. We almost got put in the orphanage that used to be there. Remember the Christian Home for Children on Palisade Avenue?
In Hackensack, wasn't it?
No, in Fort Lee. They closed it down.
Was it in Fort Lee?
Yeah, because they were beating kids up. But my mother was going to put us in there. I don't know what made me think of that.
God.
I'm having a flashback, Jack.
If it ever happens again,
Oh,
I've got
boy.
a basement, I've got an airbag.
All right.
I only want you to have good flashbacks when we're talking.
Thank you, Jack. TikTok diner, baby.
So, somehow an hour disappeared. Now it feels
we
like
can
an
never get
hour.
it back.
Very good
It was
show,
feeling
folks.
like 2 hours for a while, but
Yeah.
now. And we want to thank our good friend, sponsor of the show, Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions.
Bye, Jack.
Bringing and delivering comedy for all your comedy needs.
He's like the comedy milkman. He delivers it right to your.
And if
It's
he
like you
doesn't
could
do...
milk Jack. You could
I
just
remember Milkman.
pull on his teats and you'll get comedy come right
We had a
out.
little carton on the back.
His
of
comedy
our-
teats.
Of our, did you have a little
Okay.
milk carton in the back of your stuff? The milkman would
Talking
come
to
and
me?
put it
I'm
in?
more like the Charles Chips guy. Remember that?
Yeah. We didn't have him. We didn't get delivery of chips, but I remember the cans.
You got chips
Yeah.
delivered?
Charles Chips, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
We didn't. I didn't.
And Dugan's Cakes and Bread.
Dugan's.
Did you guys ever get that delivered?
Oh, you
Dugan's?
come running out of the house. You go, "Hey, Dugan's!" And the guy would stop the truck, and you'd run up, and you get like bread and donuts. Yeah, the Dugan's man.
Cupcakes. and
Cupcakes,
stuff and
yep.
donuts,
Well, fear not, old people. Now there's an app for that.
No.
I don't know what the name of it is, but
Did you have the guy with the knives that would sharpen the knives that would walk up and down the street with the bell? Did you have that?
He'd have a
Jen?
bell on the truck like the Good Humor Man.
No,
He'd
this
go
guy
for the
would
bell.
walk. This guy was some old Italian guy. And he had like a sandwich board with a grinder, and he would walk up and down the street and ringing the bell. Like I go Italian, right? And the old Italians would stick their head out the window and go, "Wait a minute, I'm a coming." And they go down with their scissors and their knives.
what
and-
did he yell? Knife for sharpening.
He,
Knife,
no,
what
he
did
just had like one of those old school bells, and he just ring it and walk up and down the street.
And people knew the bell.
They knew the
meant for
bell,
knife
yeah.
Sharpening.
Yeah.
What did the people that were ringing the bell to warn of like the British coming do then?
This was 1950s. The British were not coming anywhere.
Who was coming in 1950?
Nobody was coming. That's why my mother and father got divorced.
Well, the Russians were planning on. Okay. Oh, but bump.
Thank you.
It took me.
I know.
I got you.
Gotta listen.
I know.
Some spinning gold here.
So we all have to be
are.
at Borgata
Our
November
Rapunzel.
4th weekend. That's going to be the place to be.
November 4th through 9th. Yep. And you
Okay.
have to be at the
That's great.
Bicycle Club when?
November 9th.
November 9th. So the night I finish is the night you can start with
Oh,
Jack.
Jack.
I do my thing there. Yeah.
November 9th, I'm going to be there November 10th, right down the road. So I might as well come to your show
no-
and
That's
stay
right.
over.
So November's
We're
a
all in
big
the same
month
neighborhood there.
for Jack Hoffman.
Yeah. I'll come to yours if you come to mine.
I always want to do what's his name from the guy that was on Channel 9 WOR for so many years, the little guy, the guy that looked like Elmer Fudd. What was his name? You know the guy I'm talking about? Memory Lane.
Oh,
Joe
I know
Franklin.
this
Oh,
before.
Joe
Franklin.
Franklin. Joe Franklin.
Because for years he had Hoffman Soda as sponsor.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Jack?
And Nuco. Yeah,
No,
that's
new
one.
cover. But
And Peppermint.
he'd come on and go, Hoffman Soda's my friend. Then they would deliver soda to your house too.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
We're gonna have to work on getting. We should get Sebret to sponsor us, Tom. You
Hey,
think?
no.
I'll go for Hebrew National. We'll
Yeah.
get a little competition going.
All right.
You answer to a higher authority. All
My
right.
dad likes Hebrew National hot dogs.
Oh, who doesn't?
Oh, come on, let's be frank.
Oh.
You weenie.
That's why I leave the comedy to the three professionals right there.
What do you get when you take the insides out of a hot dog? A Halloweenie.
I really,
Dixie Riddle Cups,
I disavow
1975.
any knowledge of anyone on this show. How much have we raised so far?
$4.90.
Symphony.
Show
Let's
me
go to the
the
tote board.
22 cents, ladies and gentlemen.
And so we're going to close off. Midterms are coming up, very important to our country. So please remember my liberal-leaning friends. Get out there and vote Tuesday, November 6th.
What color?
And please remember my right-leaning friends. Get out there and vote Wednesday, November 7th.
All
Think
right.
have I influenced the election, you think?
You're like Russia.
Da.
All right. Well, and remember
Okay,
Jack
let's all go
Hoffman.
to sleep.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Julia,
Thanks for
thank
being
you.
had.
Julia Scotti, everyone.
Let's hear it for Julia
Wonderful
Scotti.
show, folks. Wonderful show.
Jack, thanks for calling in, buddy.
And our next
Bye-bye.
show will be in 3 weeks. What is that? November 13th.
With the famous Uncle Vinny and Uncle Sal.
That's right.
Oh,
You heard it here first. So
okay.
thanks for tuning in. Are we all done?
Okay, cue our theme song.
Okay.
Cue the theme song.
I
Our
got-
closing theme
I
song.
really have such gas.
Go. Thanks for watching.